Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are a brand new viewer. So it's been a minute since I've done some Am I the Asshole wedding threads. So I do have a couple wedding ones that I want to talk about. Really quick before we get into our first one, if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, it really helps me out and it doesn't cost you anything. Okay, moving on to our first story. Am I the asshole for wearing a wedding dress to somebody else's wedding? Ugh. It's hard not to judge it based on that, but that sounds like a crazy thing. But let's read. All right, it says please read the story before jumping to conclusions. I will. I am a 20-year-old female married to my husband 2 years ago. We aren't rich and we don't care that much about weddings, so I wore my prom dress to my wedding. It's not a super fancy wedding dress or anything. It's basically a long sequin dress in a deep dark blue with one sleeve. Ooh, okay. For the reference, here's the dress. Oh, there's a picture. I screenshotted this, so I don't have the picture. My friend Sierra, 22 female, was attending my wedding. Since the wedding, I wore it on a few occasions because it's basically the only one fancy dress I own. Recently, Sierra was getting married and I was obviously invited. Hang on one second. The wedding color scheme was dark blue and she requested fancy attire. So I thought my dark blue dress would be fine. Got it. So even though that's what you wore to your wedding, it's not like a wedding dress because it's a blue color anyway. It's not white and it's not even remotely close to a wedding dress, which is what I just said. I didn't realize that sentence was there. I also didn't feel like wasting money on another fancy dress that I wouldn't ever wear again, especially since we aren't rich. Totally reasonable. So I showed up at her wedding in my dark blue sequin dress. It wasn't standing out or anything. Most of the guests were wearing even more fancier dresses. However, when Sierra saw me, she lost it. Does she know it's your wedding dress? Maybe. She yelled at me in front of all the guests, in front of her husband and my husband, saying that what I did was horrible and that no one shows up at a wedding in a wedding dress. To be fair, it is not what most people embody in their mind as like a traditional wedding dress. So considering that it's really a special occasion dress that she just happened to wear for her wedding, I don't really think it's the same thing if she were to show up in like a white dress. Anyway, I tried to reason with her, saying that the dress isn't a wedding dress, it's a fancy dress. It's the only piece of fancy clothing I own. I wore it to multiple occasions before and after my wedding. She didn't listen and kept yelling at me to the point where her bridesmaids and her husband started trying to calm her down. Whoa. She also said a bunch of unsavory names to me. Might be time to dump her as your friend. I was very upset with the drama and decided to leave with my husband. Then I started getting texts from Sierra, who blamed me for upstaging her on her wedding day, for driving a wedge between her and her husband. Honey, that's on you because of how you reacted. That's got nothing to do with your friend. Anyway, since he said that she overreacted massively and upset her friend over a dress, I decided to ignore them because I think she's being unreasonable, but a part of me thinks I was the asshole because I wore the dress to my own wedding. I don't think you're the asshole, because when most people say like you're not supposed to wear a wedding dress or white, they do mean what we would say is a traditional wedding dress. Like, yes, you wore this to your wedding, but it's definitely not a traditional wedding dress, and it fits the color scheme of her wedding, and it's not a wedding dress. So I don't see you as being the asshole at all. I think your friend must know that this was what you wore to your own wedding. Did you say she came to your wedding? Was attending my wedding. Yeah. So she came to your wedding. So she knew that's what you wore for your wedding dress. So I guess just the fact that she knew that it was your wedding dress made her mad, but I genuinely don't understand. It fits the color scheme and it's not an actual wedding dress. She's a bride. She'd still be wearing white. So I think your friend's just a little cuckoo for coconuts. Is that it? Or cuckoo for cocoa? It's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Sorry. Okay, moving on to the next one. All right. Am I the asshole for last minute declining to go to a friend's wedding that is dry on New Year's Eve? As far as I know, dry means there's no alcohol. Let's see. My buddy, 33-year-old male, is getting married to a girl that our friend group is not in love with. He loves her, though, so we support him. We have known for months that this is a New Year's Eve wedding. I RSVP'd, yes, months ago with my wife. Several friends and I operated under the assumption that there would be booze at the wedding, especially considering New Year's Eve. Well, I found out yesterday that it's a dry wedding, turns out because of his fiance and her family. Why does that affect your ability to go? Anyway, I asked my wife if she knew this and said no and was pissed. I texted the groom buddy and asked. He confirmed this. I told him this is something that you should have told us a long time ago. I told him that wife and I wouldn't be going. I wanted to spend the night drinking. We wanted to spend the night drinking. Wow. You're not gonna go to your friend's wedding because it's dry, there's no alcohol there? Let me finish the story and then I'll I texted the rest of my friends about this and oh boy, the group chat went off. This led to several more people backing out. This is not how a bunch of us expected to spend New Year's Eve. Really, the only ones that didn't back out are the four members of our 12-person group that are in the wedding. Groom buddy reached out to me and went off. Pretty much now he is overspending on catering. He's having 20-ish less guests show up than planned, and this is all last minute. I've been called an asshole among other things for leading the charge and people not going to the wedding. Are you the asshole? I think if it sounds like you're really upset that you're not going to be able to get wasted at this, right? To me, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I don't really get drunk like that anyway. I don't even drink that alcohol that much because it's not free calories. But were you only going to their wedding because there was alcohol, just because it was New Year's Eve and you just wanted to get drunk? Like, I'm just not understanding why the fact that they don't want alcohol at their wedding, which is their choice, is their wedding, and you're just saying there's no alcohol here, so I'm just not going to go to your wedding. Really? Because it sounds like you're more interested in getting drunk than you are actually being there for your friend and celebrating. When you go to somebody's wedding, it typically involves a sacrifice. Now that doesn't necessarily mean, I don't mean that in a negative connotation, but you might sacrifice your time. If you're going to a destination wedding, it might be a sacrifice of money. And in the case of people who have dietary restrictions or something like this, they have a preference, you're sacrificing the ability to drink because they just don't want alcohol at their wedding. But you're only talking about one night. You can't not drink for one night. I just think I think you are the asshole because it seems like drinking is more important to you and the rest of the friends who aren't going than actually being there for your friend. Which is crazy to me because unless they were having an open bar, you're just going to be paying for alcohol anyway, which is a lot more expensive than if you would just buy it and drink at home. But yeah, to me, I don't understand. And it looks like they deemed you the asshole. I would say you are the asshole. I mean, I would say too, like if your first thought was like, oh my God, there's not going to be any alcohol, I can't go. I mean, it's an interesting sign. It's a bit of a yellow flag for you. You might have an issue with alcohol if that's the whole reason you were going to somebody's wedding is to be able to drink. So yeah, I do think you're the asshole, buddy. All right, moving on to the next one. I forgot my flags. They're over there. I'll get them for the next video. I forgot about them. All right. Am I the asshole for ditching a wedding that I, 20-year-old female, was the maid of honor in because the bride, 22-year-old female, tried to set me up with the best man, 28-year-old male? I hate when people try to set you up. Like, if I was interested in being set up, I would come to you. But anyway, I was supposed to be the maid of honor at a wedding a few weeks ago. I ended up just leaving and going home to my boyfriend of 6 years after the bride and groom tried to set me up with the best man. When my friend got engaged last year, I was excited for her and even more excited when she asked me to be the maid of honor. As invites went out though, she asked me not to bring my boyfriend to the wedding. What? Yeah, sorry. Now that I don't know why I just read that, but I'm just realizing you are in a relationship and have been for 6 years, but they're trying to set you up with somebody else and they don't want you to bring your boyfriend to the wedding. Wow. I was really upset about that, but my boyfriend talked me down, telling me the weddings are expensive and they are probably trying to keep the guest list down and they didn't really know him. But it's been 6 years. If she's like, you're the maid of honor, which means you're a very good friend. So to me, that's a big yellow flag, red flag. if you've been friends with somebody for a long time, enough to be their maid of honor, and they don't know your boyfriend that you've been dating for 6 years. But okay. So he told you it was fine to go without him. That made sense to me, so I didn't say or do anything after that and just continued with helping as I could as the maid of honor. Nothing else really concerning happened until a couple of days before the wedding. The bride asked me to give the best man a ride to and from the wedding, which is about 4 hours drive. Wait a minute. Sorry. The bride asked you to give the best man a ride to and from the wedding. It's a 2-hour drive to the wedding. Where's the wedding? All right, anyway, I thought it was just part of it, and he was a veteran and had his own issues surrounding that. So I gave him a ride up to the Airbnb that we were staying at before the wedding. Oh, okay, got it. The whole time he tried to make conversation that was just weird to me, and I was just not into it and just trying to be nice, just trying my best to be nice to him. At the Airbnb with everyone, I immediately noticed things were off. All the other bridesmaids had their boyfriends there, and things were really awkward when I found out I was in a room with the best man. Whoa. Why would they? Okay, let me finish reading because ugh. The next day before the rehearsal dinner, the bride and groom cornered me in a room to say the best man was an incredible guy and that I was blowing him off without really giving him a chance. You're dating somebody 6 years. She's your friend. They should know this. I told him, well, of course not. I have a serious long-term boyfriend, right? Which y'all specifically told me not to bring. Then the bride cut in and told me, well, that really isn't that serious since he hasn't proposed in so long. I said I would Okay, let me just start by saying not everybody has this aspiration to want to be married. If wanting to be married is something you want, there is nothing wrong with that. But there's also nothing wrong with not wanting to be married. So I hate this when people are just like, well, you've been dating for a long time, but he hasn't proposed. Maybe they don't want to get married. Maybe they are very happy just being together in a relationship. Marriage is not something that everybody aspires to just because it's what you want. Anyway, so I argued back that that was because we were both still in school, even though it's none of her frigging business. We continued arguing for a little while before I finally just said, forget it, I'm going home. I got called all sorts of awful names going out of the room and packed up and left. This is just wild to me. Somebody who is your friend, who, again, you must have known her for a long time for her to make you her maid of honor. And you've been dating somebody for 6 years and she hasn't bothered to get to know them at all. And she's trying to set you up with another man that she feels like would be better for you because he hasn't proposed. Is it just that she wants you to get married and she thinks that will happen with this guy? This is just weird. All right. Anyway, there's another part to this. Let me go to that part 2. I got a lot of calls on the way home, which I ignored until my boyfriend called. Apparently, the bride called him and told him I just left for no reason. Wow. And he called to check in on me. I told him everything that happened and he was kind of dumbstruck by it. Just like me, not friggin' understanding. Anyways, after the wedding, I've had the bride and groom and a lot of their friends call or message me telling me how horrible of a person I was for just leaving the night before the wedding for no reason. Oh, okay. None of which were receptive to my side of things, and it started to worry me that maybe I overreacted by just leaving like that. Anyway, am I the asshole? No. Sorry, I'm not going to read that one because that's just like a general summary. Edit. I started dating my boyfriend in high school. He's 2 years older than me. My friends don't really know my boyfriend since he doesn't go to the same school as us, and when we do see each other, it's usually halfway between our schools. Even if, I'm just saying though, like you guys have been dating for 6 years. If your friends have not been invested in wanting to at least meet your boyfriend and to a point where they know him, to me, that's just really weird. Like if I had a friend who was like, I have a sister, but if I didn't have a sister and I asked my best friend to be my maid of honor, it would be really weird for me to have a boyfriend that they didn't want to come because they didn't know him, even though I've been dating him for 6 years. So no, you are not the asshole. First of all, it's very strange for you to have to room with somebody you don't know who's a man the night before like the wedding. Second of all, you are dating someone which you have been dating for a long time. You made that very clear. Both two people who you know, your friend who's getting married and her maid of honor, literally looked you in the face and said, yeah, we know that you're dating somebody, but like F that guy, this guy would be better for you, even though you said not interested. And then proceeded to tell everybody that you left for no reason. If it isn't clear and abundant, girl, you need to cut her off. You're not friends anymore. I mean, that's your choice, but that's what I would do, because she's not even interested enough in your life to like want to know who you're dating. And she's just like, no, I've got the better person for you. This guy right here that you've never met before. You should be with him. Trash. No, girl, you're not the asshole. And the fact that I wonder if other people, like if you had a chance to tell the rest of your friend group what actually happened, if they still side with her. Nah, they're both trash. You can throw them away. I mean, the bride and the groom. So you're not the asshole, girl. All right, it's the last one I'm going to do in this video because I'm trying to make the videos overall shorter. Am I the asshole for not performing at my ex-friend's wedding? Let's see. A friend of mine of nearly 10 years recently got engaged and started planning a wedding for the summer of 2025. She asked me to be her bridesmaid at the wedding, and I happily said yes. When planning the wedding, I asked if she would prefer a traditional wedding gift or would they like some assistance with the wedding. I'm a singer at a wedding band, and we have performed for free for my friends and family before, and we offered to play a set in exchange for food. She was very excited about that idea. That's very nice of you. I like that you gave her options like, hey, do you want me to perform? This will be your wedding gift. All right, great. However, at the engagement party, I got into a huge fight with the fiance to the point in which my friend kicked me out of the wedding party. And later the entire wedding. It's fine. I couldn't pretend to be happy for them at the wedding. It's their day. If they don't want me there, it's okay. Curious, are you going to tell us what the fight was about? Okay, let me just finish reading. I, however, assumed that since I am no longer welcome at the wedding, I'm not required to give a gift either. I'm not giving a gift. If I'm not going to the wedding, you're not getting a gift from me. My former friend, her friends, insisted that since they had booked us, we were required to perform at the wedding. She kicked you out of the wedding party, right? Did she kick you out of the wedding itself? Yeah, she kicked you out of the wedding party and later the entire wedding. But she's like, you still got to perform. Huh? First of all, you were performing as a gift to her. It's not like she was paying you. Anyway, for free. I told her that we only perform for free for family and friends, and even they pay for accommodation and travel as well and provide us with food at the event. If she wants us to perform, it'll be the standard fee. Since we are not friends, we have an opening to take the wedding, but we are not doing it for free. Since that, she has badmouthed us to all of our mutual friends. They think that in order to keep the peace, we should just do it as we had promised. Why do people always do this? Like, people are just like, you should do this to keep the peace. If you hear all of the facts in this situation and somebody kicked you out of the wedding and kicked you out of the wedding party, so you're not in the wedding party anymore, and they don't want you to attend the wedding, but they still want you to perform for free, and you think that's acceptable and you should do it to keep the peace, I got news for you. I ain't doing that shit, okay? Because I don't need to keep the peace. I was doing that as a gift. And since we're not friends anymore, you ain't getting no free gifts from me, okay? So if you would like me to perform, which is my job, you're gonna pay me or I'm not performing. Am I the asshole here for not wanting to give an expensive, valuable gift to someone who is no longer considering me as her friend? No. I think my rant just said all of it, but no, that's just, to me, that's crazy, right? Like, if you don't want somebody to even be at the wedding, forget not being in the wedding party anymore, but like, she doesn't want you to be at the wedding anymore, but she still wants you to perform for free? No, absolutely not. I think you're really nice in wanting to perform and get paid at all. Like, I get it. Like, it's your job, but like, I wouldn't want to be there performing, even if I was getting paid, because I'm like, you felt some type of way that you completely kicked me out. And you're just like, don't come to the wedding. And I'm just like, okay, bet, won't. Not gonna perform either. Figure it out, ho. Not gonna be for me. But absolutely not the asshole. It's just wild to me. Why would you want somebody to perform at your wedding that you don't even want to be there outside of them performing? I don't get it. People get so crazy about weddings. People are just terrible. Well, that's all the ones I'm going to do today. Let me know in the comments below what you think of some of these crazy stories. That's my time. Like, comment, subscribe. Okay, bye.